Well. What do we have here? We got a NFC East champion again. The Birds beat the Commanders this evening 29-18. Um, they just shut down Washington in the second half. Now, Marcus Mariota was not back in this game. He was knocked out early third quarter. Um, so they had to go play against Johnson, the quarterback who's been around everywhere. Um, they just Washington could not do nothing else but try to run the ball, and the Eagles were just waiting. Um, they did force a turnover. Um, Jalen Hurts on today's game, what a game for him, as he just literally just had so much fun. I mean, if you watch this game, it was fun watching as far as they didn't look good in the first half. Only scored 7 points in the first half. But Jalen with he literally had 30 pass attempts. He was 22 of 30 for 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 sacks. He had a passer rating of 111.1. Was that Saquon Barkley? Now talk about a was not getting going. Had a second half unbelievable. 21 for 132 with a touchdown. Jalen Hurts also rushing for 7 rushes for 40 yards. Tank Bigsby also 4 rushes for 37 yards and a touchdown. Tank averaging 9.3 yards this game. Wow. A.J. Brown finished with 9 receptions for 95 yards. Devontae Smith, 6 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 3 catches, 32 yards, also for a touchdown. For 1 touchdown. And Jahan Dotson, 3 catches for 13 yards. And Will Shipley, 1 catch for 3 yards. So there are your numbers on the Birds, guys. This, to me, was a really, this is something. I think they're going to play one more game. I do. I think you're going to see the starters next week. Even though the Eagles have it wrapped up, they're still kind of right there with the, with those, with the playoff picture. If you really kind of look at it, as I'm trying to look it up right here, I'm going to try to get a good look at the playoff picture right now. Where's it at? Usually they have the standings on there, but I do not see the initial playoff picture right now at the moment. But if you're looking at it, let me give it one more little kind of look here. Nah, I mean, more or less, the Eagles just. I'm looking at it. Oh, here it is, right here. Playoff picture. There we go. Let me find it for you. Right now, if you are looking at your playoff picture, the Rams are 11-4. I'm sorry, Seattle is 12-3, first in line. Then it is the Rams that are 11-4. So that's why I'm sitting here looking. The Bears come in 10-4. Eagles are 9-5. So they get ready to play the Packers. The Packers are 9-4-1. So they are technically a half game behind. If the Bears were to lose. Now, the thing about it is, really, Monday night, you really want to take a look at something here, because Monday night would be, I would really kind of look into that game with San Francisco. They've had a cake schedule all year. And yeah, they've been. I'm not sold on them. I'm also not sold on the Buccaneers as well. They play Carolina tomorrow, so I'm not sold on them at all. But if the Bears were to win this game tonight, they would be 11-4, and they would move up to the number 2 seeded they would still stick around at 2 seed. The Eagles would be at 3 with the game behind them. But again, Bears also have to play the Lions coming up. And I think, just kind of looking at it, the last week teams are pretty much going to start getting ready. Seattle would have to lose their last 2 games, as they get set to play. So I don't know. I don't know. Right now, the Eagles looks like they're going to be locked into that 3. They could move up to 2 again, but it would have to definitely kind of look at what's going on with that playoff picture. Let's get to some of your comments here. Joe Hale says, great win. Defense dominated the game. Yes, they did. Little G Griff. Little G is back. What's going on, Little G? He said Eagles win the game. Star Wars, we won the East, but prayers for Marcus. Yes, prayers for Marcus Mariota. Chris Moore checking in saying back-to-back NFC champions. Yeah. First time in 21 years, man. Last team to do it was us. So if you look at it, the Eagles have bookends on being the last of the back-to-back champions of the NFC East. He says, now just get our players healthy and as possible for the Bills next week. I think they will definitely be ready for those Bills next week. I really do. I think you get Lane Johnson back. You also get Jalen Carter back, which is going to be huge. I've been saying this all year. I am not sold on this Buffalo team at all. I don't think they're even the best in their division, even though they beat New England a week ago. I don't like the Bills. I don't like their defense. I think the Eagles can run on that defense, and I like the Eagles defense going up against that Buffalo offense. I really do. I like them. Star was saying Eagles went NFC East, but the offense went back to being ugly against the Commanders. I would say in the first half, Star Wars. You could say that in the first half. Second half, they weren't too ugly against them. Nooms checking in says, rest up. That's all. I think so, Nooms. I think you're going to get their starters next week. I think week 17, it's not going to matter. You're going to get Tanner McKee in the second string offense. You may even get the second string defense in that game as well. So looking up to that. So yeah, it was definitely one. Now, with that being said, huge playoff game with playoff implications for the NFC is about to kick off literally in about 15 minutes or so between the Bears and the Packers in Chicago at Soldier Field. I think this is going to be a really good game too as well. So I'm looking forward to watching that game tonight. And then we have, what we have all day tomorrow. Noom saying Hurts efficient, took what they gave him, moved the ball, got into the end zone plenty. Yeah, he did. And he also missed a couple too. I mean, let's not be real. Jalen wasn't great tonight. I would have liked to see him have a couple. I'd like to see him get over the 200-yard marker a little bit more. He was 15 yards away from that. And then if you take a look at some of the balls that he threw during the game, he did have A.J. Watt open. Going down, that's when Elliott missed field goals 2 and 3. He missed his second field goal. They get a penalty. They go and move a play. They move up 5 yards, and he goes to do it again and misses again. This is a horrible night for Jake Elliott. And if I'm the Eagles, I said it 4 years ago when Elliott was hurt and they had Cameron Dicker. I said they should have held on to Cameron Dicker then, and they didn't. And now this guy is kicking unbelievable. Besides him and Brandon Aubrey are probably the best kickers in the league. Is Cameron Dicker and Brandon Aubrey. So now they're going to have to kind of look. Either they're going to have to live and die with Jake Elliott for this year, but I really think this is probably going to be Jake's last year with the Birds. I just can't see him kicking here much longer. Cowboy Dave checking in says, congrats, but I will say if Marcus didn't get hurt, it could have been a different ball game. Just a take on it. I'm not going to dispute that, Dave. Only from the fact of Johnson's just a horrible quarterback. There's a reason why he's been on half the teams in the league. So I think I'll tend to agree with you there. I think it might have been a different game. You know, good run design tonight. Yes, yes, Noobs. I will definitely agree with you there. I like some of the concepts that I saw with Saquon Barkley running the ball, and they used Tank Dell. I would like to see them get Tank Dell in a little bit more. You know, I would have liked to see that. Um, but I just want to get back to Dave's comment real quick. I do think it would have been a little different, other than because I think Mariota's a better quarterback than Johnson. One, but if we're going to play the if game, you know, I think. Well, hold on. Star Wars is saying bye, Dallas. Mickey checking in saying, "Hey, everyone." And now this is Noom's comment. Here it is. If you're going to say the if game with Mariota, then I could say the if game. If just, and I won't even say Carter. I'll just say Dean. If Dean would have still been in there, um, it wouldn't even. I just think the Eagles are that much better this year than the Commanders. And I called this. If you go back and watch when we were talking football in the beginning of the season, I said Washington was going to take a major step back. I felt the schedule was brutal enough. The whole NFC East had a brutal schedule. And believe it or not, the Giants of all teams had the most brutal schedule out of every team in the NFC. It literally went Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, and then Washington. But all three teams had a brutal, or all four teams had a brutal schedule this year. Brutal. And, I just didn't see that happening. Just like they really kind of got, I think they kind of had the injury bug hit them. And now the tape's out on Jaden Daniels. Teams knew how to play against them. And I think all that kind of came into play this year. So, he said Nooms was like game wasn't close. It says Eagles, Commanders, full fight, multiple players ejected. It was only three. It was only three players. It was Kinlaw. And the defensive back for Washington got ejected, and then Tyler Steen got ejected for sticking up for his player. So, Noom saying offense put the team in position to score on 7 drives. Yeah, they did. Again, you got to remember, man, they scored 4 touchdowns in this game, and then they missed 3 field goals. The one that only counts is the one miss, but he missed 3. So, if you're looking at it right there, this game, you're looking at 35-18 should have been the score of this game. It really wasn't. And the Eagles dominated that second half. I don't know how anybody could watch that game and just sit there and say that they did not dominate. They did. That defense was coming after them. Jordan Davis looked unreal. He really did. Baby Bull literally looked like he was ready to go. So, but yeah. So, more or less, that's pretty much like the tail of the tape for this game as we go into it. As I'm looking here, hold on. I'm just trying to get back over here. Oh, where is the? No, I don't want that. Jesus, modern technology, right? There we go. Let me get into the stats of this game. Like I said, if you're looking more towards I already gave the stats on there. Shipley with a fumble, interception by DeJean. Zach Bond with 9 tackles tonight. 3 solo, and Jahad Campbell with 5 tackles tonight, 2 solo, 1 tackle for loss. Jordan Davis, 6 tackles tonight, 4 solo and 2 for loss. Pretty damn good. Pretty darn good. The Eagles ended up, Byron Young getting a sack tonight. They had 2 sacks. It was Byron Young and Brandon Graham each with a sack tonight. So right now, you can sit there and say what you want. The Eagles now, again, for the first time in 21 years, your Philadelphia Eagles are NFC East champions, and they are back-to-back for the first time in 21 years. They did it in 2003, 2004, and they just did it again. So the drought is over for a different winner every week or every year in the NFC East. It is over for that. So with that being said, guys, next week, there it is. Birds fly by as the Birds go up into Buffalo to take on those Bills. Um, God. Phew. I personally, I can't wait now for that game. I really, truly can't. I'm actually going to do a little bit of studying tomorrow. I'm going to watch the Bills and see how they look against those Cleveland Browns. Cleveland's got a good defense, and I'm going to be interesting to see what type of game they have against them. So, anyway, going forward, guys, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning. That's right, 9 a.m. Myself and Big Al. That's right. We finally get to hang back together after a couple weeks of sickness and of work related. So it'd definitely be great to get back and talk this Eagles win with Al. Maybe we can not conjure up the man, the myth, the legend, Matty B. Maybe we'll have to get him up early this morning. Speaking of Matty B, he will return tomorrow night, 9 p.m., as he will be discussing this Birds win and the rest of the Philly sports world. Flyers taking one on the chin earlier today in New York. Also, hot stove with the Phillies. Matty will have you covered. And they'll also have you covered with one of my favorite parts of his show segments, as we call them, this day in Philadelphia sports history. So there you have it for tomorrow. Also, guys, you also have where's it at? There it is. There it is. Steel City Sunday. Make sure you tune in to Will and John and the rest of the guys out on the western side of Pennsylvania as they get you ready for Steelers football pre and post game show. They will be covering it live tomorrow. So Steelers got a big one tomorrow too as they go into play those Detroit Lions. So guys, make sure you definitely tune into all the upcoming stuff. We will have the new well, here it is right here. There it is. That's the only one you really have to look at there is Sunday. And we got you covered, man. There's everything that we have covered. And, of course, Monday night, I will have you for Clear the Ice as the Flyers host those Vancouver Canucks. And then Tuesday, in a back-to-back, Matty will have you as the Flyers go out to the Windy City before their Christmas break to handle those Chicago Blackhawks. So, again, guys, that was definitely. This was a really, really good. I thought it was a really good win for the Birds. They didn't look as lethargic on offense as they did just a few weeks ago. I like some of the stuff that they were really mixing up with. You saw a lot of guys coming in, and I'll tell you what, did Hurts get away with one early in the game? I thought he did on that slant to AJ. It kind of deflected off of the Washington defender's hand and kind of went into AJ's hand. But Noon's checking in. It says Elliott had a bad day. No more, no less. He did. Tough call on who to play. Yeah. You know what? I don't care. I treat this like a normal game, man. You want to give them week 17 off? I'm fine with that. This is the second game. That would be your second game in 3 weeks against Washington. If you want to start Tanner McKee in the backup, so be it. You've earned the right to do that, and especially if it's not going to affect who you're playing or what you have to do. We will say this. I will say this. Unless there's some crazy upsets this year, it does not look like the NFC title game will be played at Lincoln Financial Field, which to me I think is a little different because if you look at the Eagles' success of going to the Super Bowl, the NFC title game was played here before they would go. So this year, very highly that it will be somewhere else. I mean, especially as good as Seattle looked. And if you watched Props, Locks, and Parlays on Tuesday, I told Paul, I called that game. I told Paul Seattle was going to come back, and I said Seattle was going to win that game. And they not only did they cover, they were getting a point in that game, and they ended up winning by a point. So I won by 2. So that was one of my upsets of the week going forward. And I'm going to have to wait and see now what's going on. Did pretty good so far in college. Still got one game remaining. Got to check in on that as well tonight. But so far, my NFL's off to a great start. And so's Paul's, believe it or not. Paul's off to a really good start with college in his games, in his pros. He's off to a good start as well. But yeah, definitely. I would definitely say Victory Sunday tomorrow. For us Eagle fans, it is stress-free football. It is stress-free. And one of the main reasons why it's stress-free is the Dallas Cowboys know when they take the field tomorrow that they are officially eliminated again. The rest of the NFC East is officially eliminated. You have no worries now going forward. The Eagles took care of their business and wrapped up the division. And I'll tell you what. So, that's all I'm looking at it. It says 100% McKee plays the final game. Yeah, most definitely. Star Wars says, go Green Bay. There's an interesting tidbit about tonight's game. You realize that if the Bears and the Packers tie, the Lions also get eliminated. So think about that for a second. If they tie, kiss your sister, whatever, that means Green Bay would have 2 ties and literally would the Lions would get eliminated. That's crazy. Dave Yarnell saying, how many delay of game penalties that were not called on the green team? I saw at least 4. Wow. That's spoken like a true Cowboy fan. Now, will I say that they ran it down to like 1? Yeah. But if they would have done it, they would have blown it dead. If they missed it, they missed it. I mean, yeah. All I'm saying is, do you really think it would have mattered in this game? In the second half, Dave, if you were watching the game, then you know the second half. There's no way in hell anybody thought that Washington was coming back to win this game with Johnson at quarterback. There's no way. There's no way. Every Dallas fan, once they saw Johnson come in the third quarter, they were like, well, there goes our season. Because if you actually thought that they were going to pull an upset with him leading the way, that's what they call the ultimate homerism right there. I mean, I knew that game was over once he came in. That's been a thing every single team for the last 25 years. Yeah. I mean, again, that's a microcosm of that game. I know, yes, and I will agree with Dave. They were running that play clock down. And I didn't see it 4 times. I didn't see it 4 times, but I know of at least 1, maybe 2 occasions I kind of looked and was like, ooh, they just got that off, So, I mean, it was running down kind of close, but tomorrow, us Eagle fans, you get to sit back, kick back, watch stress-free football, call up all your friends that are Dallas Cowboy fans and, just let them know that, just kind of rise them a little bit. 30 years and counting. Tell them. Star Wars says, do the Eagles party? No, absolutely not. I think they should get back on the train, go back home, and rest. Last thing they need to do is party. And Dave's saying, I'm not saying they were coming back. I'm just saying I counted 4. Oh, well, hey, Dave, if you counted 4, buddy, you counted 4. I'm not going to argue what you saw. I will agree that their play clock was running low. So it says every officiating crew has a play of half second than what is seen on TV. Nothing new. Okay. So I don't know. Like I said, it just looks, I just know that I've seen it with not just the Birds. I've seen it. Matter of fact, if you watch the Rams and Seahawks on Thursday night, it looked like Darnold was kind of getting it down low, and he was snapping the ball with like 1 second, under a second, like as it was about to hit 0, they were snapping it. So I'm not saying it's not just this game, but if you count it 4, you count it 4. I guess the referees that were calling the game didn't think it was necessary to throw it, or they felt they got it off in time. So, guys, that is going to be it for me. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Me and Al, we will be going over this one as the Birds win 29-18. Again, it's off to Buffalo. And it's the very last game that's going to be played in Ralph Wilson Stadium. I got to see the Eagles go in there and beat them. I do. I'm just wondering, is that game going to get flexed out? It is going to be a key matchup, or is uh one of these networks going to grab this game? I'm really interested to see. I know it won't be the Thursday game, but it could be Sunday night. You know, Sunday night. I hope it ain't Monday. I think the Monday schedule's pretty wrapped up, or I don't know how they're still working that with the flexing. But I can definitely see this Eagles game being flexed back because the last time they played at 425, it was the game of the week between them and the Buffalo Bills. If you remember, Josh Allen missing a wide open Gabe Davis in overtime. And the Eagles went right down the field, scored a touchdown on a Hurts QB scramble, sending the Eagles off. Matter of fact, that was the last win of that for them in that season, other than I think one of the Giants games. Like they beat the Giants, but they end up that was the year of the collapse. They end up losing 6 out of 7 of their last game. So there you have it, guys. Birds win tonight, 29-18 over the Commanders. Stress-free football for all us Eagle fans. For Cowboy fans, you got to watch your team play their final game until August. Dear Dad, how sad. And Giants fans, too. You get, Giants fans, I'm sorry, you get to watch 2 more weeks of agonizing football. So there you have it, guys. Again, 29-18. Birds win. They win the NFC East again now. So there you have it. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock with Big Al. Have a good rest of your Saturday night.